3 sides by palmeries, and only the 4th side was open. That saved Medina. In any case, after that, he did liquidate, not expel, the last Jewish tribe. Again, I don't have the different names down, but if you don't agree with that or think that's wrong, read. It's not the Jews who have any record of this. It's in the biographies of the prophet. You can read it. In any case, that was the 3rd one, and so when he returned to Mecca in the next year, the Truce of Hudaybiyah. So we have Hudaybiyah, which was he then marched on Mecca. He was a relatively free hand in Medina by this time. It's about 628 or so, 627, 628. He stops, and the Meccans agree to purify the Kaaba before his coming. Some of the big names, as I told you, of Meccan aristocracy come in. Abu Sufyan, the head of the Umayyad clan, comes in. He's not happy about it. Khalid, his military commander, who's a famous name in Islam even to this day, Khalid ibn al-Walid, comes in. He defeated the Prophet at the Battle of the Trench. Like, for instance, in recent history, the PLO organization will have different brigades. One will be called the Khalid ibn al-Walid Brigade or something, and the reason is he's the great military champion of Islam or things like that. For instance, Saddam used to have a rocket, and he'd paint on the rocket Qadisiyah. What happened at Qadisiyah? Qadisiyah is where the Muslim armies defeated the Persians. So these are things that are commemorated in the modern period, in the politics of the modern time as well. So these are all what one would know about classical Islam. And then another famous name, Amr ibn, these are all basically al-As. They shouldn't be. Or al-Asi, as he sometimes called. These are all important names in early Islam. All of them connected to the previous ruling Meccan aristocracy of the Quraysh tribe. They're all part of the Quraysh, but they were mostly the Umayyad clan, which was the principal Meccan Quraysh clan. The prophet was Hashim, clan of Hashemite clan. And so he comes in, they purify the the Kaaba of idols. We get the takeover of the previous pilgrimage activities. It's become part of Islam, as we already saw in Surah 2 of the cow. And the Prophet leads the first pilgrimage. After that, he sends his deputies. I'm not sure of the sequence, whether Omar, who was one of his important assistants, or Uthman was a member of the Umayyad clan who had gone to Ethiopia with some emigres in the period of the time the Prophet was fleeing different problems that he was having. So Uthman never led the pilgrimage, but I think Omar may have done, and of course Ali, the Prophet's cousin and actual son-in-law, who married the Prophet's daughter. What was her name?
Fatima.
Fatima. That was really the Prophet's only surviving daughter. So Ali, and that will be the Shiite claim, has children through the family of the Prophet. Through the Prophet's daughter Fatima, who conserve his bloodline to some extent and mix it with Ali, who is his first cousin as well. Ali ibn Abi Talib, Abu Talib being the father of Ali, Prophet's uncle. Abu Talib turns to Abi in the genitive case. Son of genitive case, possessor. Ali ibn Abi Talib. So Ali is another person with claims. I don't know if he led one of these pilgrimages or not. I think that some people say, I guess he led the last pilgrimage before the Prophet died. You can check into these things, but if you're a Shiite, you'll think that he did, and if you're a Sunni, you'll think that he didn't, and so on. Shiites elevate Ali almost to supernatural status, like a Jesus figure. The Sunnis just treat him as a normal person. That's the key. Ali will be the key here. Anyway, you have these Rita wars going on, which are the wars to bring in the tribes of the Arabian Peninsula. And the champions of Islam are all making their name in these wars, Ali, Omar, others of that kind. Now the Prophet has 10 wives. His favorite wife supposedly is Aisha. This is what every Muslim knows, right? Nobody doesn't know this. That's why they can call out in unison with me these names right off because and this is what I want to teach you, basically what every Muslim knows, so that you'll be cognizant and be able to converse in a familiar way with what every other Muslim knows, and that you won't feel that you're lacking anything particularly that most other Muslims will be familiar with. Doesn't matter if they're in Indonesia or in Nigeria, they'll know these characters. They may not know Abu Sufyan or Amr ibn al-As, but they'll know Aisha, Ali, Omar, and so on. Now, the Prophet has, as he said in that one chapter, I think 10 wives. Only him, not other Muslims. And Aisha is one of the child bride, and there's one episode there, She That Disputeth. I don't have time for that, but the Prophet had, I think, a freed man called, I think his name was I forget what his name was, Zaid. His name was Zaid. It's the story of Zaid's wife, where the Prophet took Zaid's wife, even though it was forbidden to take your son's wife. The Prophet had adopted Zaid as a son. He was a freed man, and Zaid's wife didn't want to be married to Zaid anymore, and she wanted to be married to the Prophet. The Prophet was very accommodating always in these cases. And that's covered in the Quran. I think several chapters refer to that. Also, Aisha's problems are referred to in the Quran. The fact that Aisha came to the camp at one point escorted by